You may be making a lot of money. You may be in a marriage. You may have your kids. You may have friends. You may party and socialize. But there's something in you that knows that this is not what I had planned to live. This is not the life that I envisaged for myself. There are so many beliefs that we hold that we may not be aware of, but we have to go within. What is it that I am thinking about? What is the belief that I have that allows me to stay in this place of stress because I feel safe in this place of stress? And then we can clear it.
Hello and welcome to the next episode of Healing Millions podcast. Today, I have an honor and privilege to have amazing Bola Abimbola on my podcast. She is a best-selling author, high-performance energy coach, and frequency alchemist. She also channels light language, and we are going to experience some channeling today, which is going to be so exciting and so awesome. And I just want to say, Bola, thank you so much for being on my podcast. It's my honor, pleasure to have you here.
It is so nice to be here with you, Nina. Thank you for inviting me to your wonderful podcast. I so appreciate the work you're doing at Healing Millions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bola, you have a beautiful background. You have a degree in psychology, but you are also an energy healer. How did these two paths cross, and how did you become an energy healer and psychologist? And do these two different methodologies work together?
Thank you, Nina. I do use psychological techniques in my work, but I am not a practicing psychologist. So let me just clarify that. I have my degree and I use a lot of the techniques in my work. So I do just want to clarify that to start with. And how did my journey start? I started out in medical school in Nigeria. I did 2 years of medical school, and I found that it wasn't something that was exciting to me. I didn't enjoy the focus on the biology and the physiology and all the research around the body. And something in me felt something was missing. And I began to attend less lectures and I began to feel very disorganized. And then I took a break and I came over here with my first husband at the time to the UK. This was in Nigeria when I started medicine. And when we got here, I decided to do psychology. So that was closer to home for me because I had also read a book by Ramana Maharshi back home in Nigeria. My mother was a librarian, so we had books at home from all over the world. And Ramana Maharshi's book, Who Am I?, was what I saw on the shelves, and it had told me about the two selves, the higher self and the physical ego self. So I was already initiated into that spirituality of self, knowing that this physical self that we are is only a part of us, and there's actually a more divine part of us. So I was very curious about that. And psychology brought me closer to it, especially the work of Carl Jung, which recognizes consciousness and the fact that we are all consciousness. And there is a part of us that is living and a part of us that is a part of existence that is non-living. So there is the living existence and the non-living existence. But everything is existence. Everything is consciousness. And that really was where I loved to engage in Carl Jung's work with all my colleagues and my friends. But I was leaning more towards management in the health service, and I went into national health management, and that led me into emotional intelligence. And still I was feeling very disorganized, very non-peaceful. I was making a lot of money. I had my children, although I had a lot of emotional and psychological issues because my first marriage, didn't really go the way I planned. We didn't have kids for 10 years. And that was tough because when you're in a marriage and you're together, maybe the first or the second year, I think people think, okay, maybe they're still in their honeymoon. But by the fourth and the fifth and the sixth year, there's usually a focus on why, what's going on. And in many cultures, you do have a reliance on the woman. It's usually the woman that is the one that is not allowing the couple to have kids. So I did have that, and that was tough. But I still continued my degrees. I have 3 degrees. I have a degree in psychology, a degree in postgraduate health management, and a master's in business administration. And then the kids came, and my first son had autism, was diagnosed with autism, and my second son came very soon after. So it was lots of lots of life was going on. And at the same time, I was realizing that I wasn't happy. I wasn't understanding how to feel at peace within myself. Because you may be making a lot of money, you may be in a marriage, you may have your kids, you may have friends, you may party and socialize, but there's something in you that knows that this is not what I had planned to live. This is not the life that I envisaged for myself. There was something that kept drawing me closer to my true self, to that spirit self. And I was very much into Christianity. My mother was a Christian, and I did go to lots of different denominations. I tried, Anglican. I tried Baptist. I tried Methodist, Apostolic. I did go through them all, and then I began to sway towards the Eastern religions. And I remember my brother telling me at the time, "Why don't you try energy healing?" This is my younger brother. And I resisted that because we have all this conditioning and programming that tells us that those religions or those practices are not particularly wellness, or they're not particularly light. So I was influenced by that, for a bit. And it was only when my first son was not sleeping at night. He was having challenges. He would sleep for 30 minutes, 1 hour, and then wake up through the night. So I was exhausted, and so was he, And I remember my younger brother saying to me, "Why don't you try Reiki? Why don't you try energy healing? It helped me sleep. It helped me do this. It helped me do that." I said, "This one modality is helping you to do all these things. How come?" And I decided to try it one day. And I asked the practitioner to send it at a distance. And that was the first night that my son slept through the night. It was such a tangible change, such a tangible experience, and there was no going back for me. And so energy healing has become such a part of my life, for my son, for myself, for my family. And yes, it mixes very well with psychology because this is about consciousness. This is about life force. Reiki energy healing is about universal life force, which is what consciousness is. Consciousness is that mirror of universal life force. It's the intelligence within universal life force that allows us to manifest and experience all forms of life. So this is how I blend, psychology and cognitive behavior psychology in particular is a modality that I use in my work. And it's talking about beliefs. It's talking about how the beliefs that we hold in our minds lead to our decisions, lead to our behaviors. So in my work, I do come to a place of clarity because my work is really about freedom. Get into a place of freedom, freedom to express ourselves, freedom to explore, freedom to communicate, freedom from fear. We all have that difference within us, those perspectives of fear or love. And this is what my book is about, Daily Soul Bites, the perspectives of love and fear within us. And what my work does, it makes you fearless. It gives you the freedom to love, the freedom to be free of fear, to be free, because that takes a choice. For us to be free of fear, we have to have choice. So freedom to choose a fearless life. So I work with my clients to understand what is it that is within them that is making them afraid, that is making them hold on to stress, hold on to those lower perspectives of life. Because life has both. We have both. Lower perspectives of fear and the higher perspectives of love. And it's a frequency, it's a vibration. It's not about good or bad. It's just all within us, and we just have to learn to choose. So cognitive behavior therapy is about understanding the perspectives within us. And then the energy healing helps us to shift it. We actually raise the vibration of our own body, of our own energy field, because we have this physical body, which is only one of 7 auras around us, within 7 fields within that aura. So we can really come to release the data within those fields as we become aware of them, as we allow, as we surrender. And with the help of my guides and the intentions that they set, they also have their guides coming into the sessions. So we easily combine the energy healing with the cognitive behavior therapy, subliminal technology, which I also produce. I have those as well, which I've produced, which I use in my sessions. And we also use, quite a number of different crystals. We use affirmations, mirror work. There's a lot of different modalities that come into the sessions. But the fundamental modalities are the energy healing and the cognitive behavioral therapy.
Bola, you mentioned something very important here. You mentioned that our beliefs shape our reality. For somebody who is listening to this interview, and they will say, okay, if my beliefs shape my reality, if I create my own reality, I never wanted to be stuck. I never wanted to have a pain. How is it even possible that I created that situation where I feel stuck and have pain?
Thank you, Dina. That is so true. Because sometimes we wonder, why is this going on? If I am the one that is creating this, how don't I know it? How come it's happening? And it's really about the subconscious and the conscious mind, because a lot of the things that we are aware of is because of the things that they are in our conscious mind. But there's also the subconscious mind, which is in the limbic system of the brain. And that subconscious mind is where a lot of the beliefs that are really from that traumatic time may not be in this lifetime, maybe from another lifetime. Because some of us believe that we only have had one life. And for me, I have come to understand that there is life after death. And it's really about passing on. We're not dying, we're passing on to another form of life. And that form of life may be a living being, maybe a non-living entity. And it's about us really, in this present time, coming to understand what aspect of my lifetimes is relevant to me today. So a lot of the work I do in my Akashic Record Clarity is about understanding, first of all, that it's not about one life. And there's an Akashic Record that holds all the patterns of things we have ever done, things that we are doing, and things we will ever do. And we can really come to understand that, first of all, that it's not just about what we remember, and it's not just about one life. So that's the first thing. And then there is the soul purpose, because sometimes our soul has come to explore certain densities, certain themes that we may not originally be aware of. For instance, I know that being a parent of a child with very complex needs, my son has 12 diagnoses, including autism and complex learning difficulties, health challenges, and is doing very well. He's now a trainee sous chef here in London. And it really has come to light for me that it's not about what happens in your life, it's about what you do with it. And we're not victims. We're actually very empowered beings with very powerful soul purposes. And my journey has been, first of all, acknowledging the fact that I actually have come as a soul contract with my son to come to not fear uncertainty. Having a son who, first of all, had one diagnosis, and then we overcame, well, we not overcame, but we came to manage that. Then the second diagnosis, we had to come to manage that. And then the third, we had to pull ourselves back and develop resilience to manage the third, and then the fourth, and then the fifth. And now he's got 12. He cannot read or write, but he loves his training that he's doing. He loves to cook. And whatever he cooks sells really well. There is a gift that he has. When he slices the onions very, very thin, it's quite amazing to watch. And for me, I've come to realize that it's not about what is going on for us, because that never really goes away. There's nobody that comes to a place where they never have anything to go through anymore in this life. So first, we know that there are things that we do not have full awareness of because it's not conscious. We have many lifetimes that this may be coming to play now. We also can come to understand that there are themes that we have come to explore that we may not necessarily understand. So it's about awareness, understanding, and acceptance. So coming to a place where we know what intentions we're holding. For instance, if I'm saying to myself, why am I having this challenge with my work, or this challenge with my mother, or this challenge with, could be a persistent wall that, that one keeps hitting. And it's about asking yourself, what is it that I could be doing? Or what is it that I am not able to do by my having this experience? There's something called inner inquiry, is a modality that I use. It's about asking ourselves questions. So I will sit in front of my client and I'll ask whatever the issue is. I will ask a question that allows them to ask themselves, why? Why is this happening? What could I be doing if I didn't have this experience? What is this experience stopping me from doing? And I bring it back to self as an empowered being. There is nobody outside of us that is stopping us from doing something. We have to come to understand, what is it? What is it that is within me that is stopping me, or that is feeling that I need to be protected? There are sometimes the ego self has a lot of beliefs that is about protecting self from a place of fear, because in a past lifetime there was something that happened that has now led you to have a particular belief about that experience. So in this current lifetime, you're probably less likely to want to engage in that, and you will create resistance in your own self, in your own experience, that will stop you from moving forward in a way that allows you to have a different experience. So it's usually about that inner inquiry, coming to ask ourselves the questions that allow us to understand the why. What could be happening here? What are the things that you would not experience, or if you are feeling that you cannot make it in a particular business, what is it that you think about those who are in that particular business? You may be trying to be a coach, for instance, or a healer, or a light worker. But in your past, you may have experienced, or even in this present lifetime, there may be certain beliefs or certain experiences that has made you to hold a strong conviction that has led you to be wired up to believe that it is actually not the kind of profession that is respected, the kind of protection. There are so many things that could be held in a particular fashion in the mind. There are so many beliefs that we hold that we may not be aware of, but we have to go within. We have to go within our own self to allow us to understand, what is it that I am thinking about? What is the belief that I have that allows me to stay in this place of stress because I feel safe in this place of stress. And then we can clear it. So part of my work is really coming to understand what the limits are. And it's different for everybody. And then helping them to clear it. It could be from a lifetime. It could be from the present time. It could be something about not feeling that you're worthy, not feeling that you are good enough, not feeling that you have read enough or you have enough qualifications. There's so many reasons that we can hold, that we've wired up, that we've held as a conviction within our own self. And it's about getting to that source called belief. And then supporting. We all need help sometimes. Some beliefs we can clear on our own, and some we actually do need help. And that's part of what energy healing does. It clears it from the source. It releases the density. And this is a spiritual support. It's not support that we can see. It's not a drug that we can take. But we feel it. We sense it. We sense that warmth within us. We sense that life force within us get activated. We sense the temperature within us change, shift. We sense a calmness within us. Those are parts of our energy meridians that are being released. Some letting go is taking place. Some cords are being cut to allow us to be free from the limitations of the mind, from those, because those thoughts and beliefs are energy forms, and we can come to feel freer afterwards.
Bola, you talk on your website a lot about quantum leaping. For somebody who is listening to this interview, and you also talk about how to release those subconscious beliefs, but for people who are hearing this word like quantum leaping, what does it even mean, and how can we quantum leap into better future?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, that's part of my work. My work, quantum Reiki, is really about combining that energy healing, the life force energy healing, with light language. So this is the language of light. It's symbols, it's sound. It really is a multidimensional language, and it's not a language that we often understand. It's language from multidimensional beings from other planets. And I began to speak light language much about 10 years ago. And I really began to do it amongst friends and family. But it was 2020 or 2021 that I decided to go public with it. And then I began to channel the six-dimensional Aldorians from the planet Aldor, who have been here now for about 2-3 years, to really raise our frequency so that we can experience a new way of beingness, not doingness, but that beingness, that inner beingness. And it really supported me. Those who speak light language, or those who do light language, usually are the first ones to benefit from it. And I have found the transformation in my own life just from being supported to speak and to do light language. So light language is something that I combine with Reiki, and that is what makes it quantum Reiki, because I'm really channeling multidimensional beings at a quantum level. And I see the difference in that there is a deeper transformation, and there's also conscious channeling, which I'm now doing. Since I began to channel light language, I now do a lot of conscious channeling. So even as I speak now, there are certain words that I'm saying that are actually coming from different dimensions within me. And it's something that I know was a significant shift in my own life. So quantum Reiki, I do the one-off, which is usually 30 minutes or an hour. And then I also do the intensive, which is a package. And that's usually for 8 weeks. And I do that online or in person here in London. I have a studio here in London that I use. So I do 90-minute sessions where I channel light language, and I also do Reiki energy healing. And I also give insights as I'm directed by my guides. I have spirit guides who are family members, my father, my mother, my grandmothers, my grandfathers, who I know very well, especially my father. My father is quite strong in my life. He passed when I was 11, and he has been with me through so many different experiences in my life. Very, very clear, very, very clear. And then I also have the 10th dimensional Outdoorians, as well as Metatron, Archangel Metatron, and the Orion Council of Light. So this is really about transformation, the deep transformation of trauma, because I have had a lot of trauma in my life. And when people see me, they go, "Oh, I'm sure she has had no trauma," because I am now more in a space of joy and freedom. Without a doubt, I feel it from the moment I wake up to when I go to bed. I feel that peace within me. I feel that groundedness within me. But it was not always like that. You know, I suffered childhood sexual abuse. I also had a lot of stuttering as a child. I could barely get a word out. I could barely talk. And I also had a lot of isolation. And I didn't really feel connected with those around me. Even though I had friends, I was a head girl. I was a prefect. I was very studious. I was an A student. So, you know, and this is always interesting because it's never a case of, because sometimes we think if I was getting A, I would be happy. If I was earning $1 million, I would be happy. If I had a husband, I would be happy. If I had children, I would be happy. And I've come to realize that even though I've had all those things in my life, I wasn't happy. And happiness is a choice. It's very different. You can have all the money in the world and not be happy. You can have a husband or a wife, children, and not be happy. So I have come to that place of that lived experience of knowing that happiness, peace, that harmony, living in flow is a choice. And that is what my work is about, supporting my clients to come to a place of audacity, to live a life of emotional, mental, and spiritual freedom. That freedom is key. It's not attached to anything. It's a sense of worth within you. So yes, quantum Reiki renewal is the one is the service I offer that is at a distant. The client is wherever they are. We do not see. They send me their pictures and their details, and I send them Reiki for 30 minutes or an hour. And then there's the quantum Reiki renewal intensive, which is where I do 90-minute sessions for 8 weeks. And that is intensive. I only run one-to-one bespoke programs, but it's either one-off or in a package. And that's all on my website.
Thank you, Bola, for sharing that with us. You mentioned that you channel light language. And when I talk to you, I see that you're channeling the whole time. But people who have never heard light language, would you be open to channel light language for the audience so they can hear that as well?
Yeah, sure. I will say that the channeling that I do, it's not any one being. I used to, at one point, only do the Outdoorians, but now I know that I actually do have a range of beings that I channel. So it's really coming from my higher self, that higher self that is our spirit self. So the words will come out, and what I will do is I'll ask anyone who is listening or watching this to allow what is coming through. It will only meet you where you are. It would only meet your intentions. So it's about really allowing what you're ready to activate. And it's an energy of unconditional love. It's very powerful, and it allows us to raise our frequency of being. And what will come out may not be language that you understand, but I'll give an interpretation when I finish. And it would usually be for maybe 5 or less. It wouldn't be for long. But I'll ask you to take short breaths in between as well as I channel. So I just ask you to sit back and relax and take a deep breath and hold an intention for something that would make you happy in this point in your life. Could be something you're wanting to receive for yourself, something that you know will make a difference in your life in any area. It could be in your spiritual area or social or financial or health or emotional or your career. So just sit back and relax and hold an intention for a higher frequency, a higher level of experience in that area. And I'll ask you to take deep breaths in between. Yapakatara sitire mushoturusa. Yapeketere soturo mashakara sitiris. Yapeketere soturo shorums. Take a deep breath. Kesitire mushakara matara kuturus. Krempetere soturo makatara shatara. Raptiri musuturus. Yapakatara soturo shoturus. Yapeketere satara masoturo mushotu. Ketiri soturo mosha. Katere musoturo moshotara keteris. Take a deep breath in. Allow the energies to come into you, to release you from fear. Take a deep breath in and out. Katiri masuturu shuturusa. Kitiri musatara shuturu. Atiri masatiri kataramaka. Kuturu mushuturu katara. Patara matara siti. Kushitiri musuturu. Kasetiri musuturu suturu siti. Katiri masuturu. Katiri masuturu sho. Ketiri masatara so. Kushuturu musatara kashatara makatara sutu. Kashiri suturu musha. Kesiri masuturu shakara. Kratiri masuturu suturu katarasa. Krisuturu mushakara sitiri sitiri si. Kratara masuturu suturu suturu. Krasatara masuturu. Krisitiri mashuturu. Krisitiri makatara shuturu kuru musatara. Krasitiri suturu. Krasitiri mushuturu. Kasitiri masha. Kasara. 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 Shuturu musuturu. Take a deep breath. There are so many of you that are in this place. You're not sure whether to stay or to go. You're in a transition, you're in a stop. And it's important for you to know that you will move forward when you're ready. But first you have to embrace love. You have to embrace the love that is within you. There is love and there is fear. And you have to align to love. You have the power. You do not need an intercessor. You do not need anyone in between you. Allow yourself. Allow yourself. Allow your ego selves to surrender. And then you will hold the light within you from a place of neutrality. It is from that place of neutrality that you will find your way. You will find the way that is for your next levels without judgment. With love. Only love will take you there. And what we have given you today is unconditional love to help you shift, to help the parts of you that are wounded, the parts of you that need love. only love shifts. Only love lifts. The love that you have received today will help you to shift to your next levels, to your next timelines, to meet the versions of you that this level matches. The frequency that you now have will match you to the versions of you that you desire. Allow, allow. I leave you in peace and love. And so it is.
Thank you, Bola. This was beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
For everybody who is watching this interview or listening and want to start channeling light language, how they can do it, can you share a little bit about that as well?
First thing really is the awareness. Awareness is key. Being aware of what is within you that is stopping you from doing it. Because a lot of the times we are already doing it. We're already channeling, but we're not doing it consciously. We're not allowing ourselves to do it publicly. We're not allowing ourselves to own that version of us that is channeling consciously or channeling as a trance. Because whenever we're doing something that we enjoy, when we zone out, we are already channeling. So this is more about how we can do it consciously, publicly, and in whatever form we allow. What are we allowing? We're allowing our spirit self to drive that physical ego self. That is what channeling is when that physical ego self that is usually focused on survival is now being driven by that higher self, by that spirit self. And that spirit self can be multidimensional, in the sense that it's connecting to a number of different beings in the spirit world, including our loved ones who have passed. And based on the perceptions that we hold, whether we think that channeling will bring in bad energy or channeling will make us lose a part of ourselves, we may lose control. We have to let go of those perspectives and allow ourselves to hold stronger perspectives around love, around light. We are not victims. When we actually believe that we are connecting to dark, that is what makes us victims. When we hold beliefs that a dark force may come to hurt us, we can actually just say that I do not want to connect to any dark. We can just state with our intention, and that is enough, that I'm only connecting to light. I'm only channeling light. I'm only aligning to light. And that may take practice, because we may have been surrounded by those who have allowed us to be wired to believe that we can have something override us. From where? We are the only ones in our universe. We are the ones creating this experience. You are the one creating this experience that you're having. And the more you can come to believe that, the more you can come to hold your intentions and have the audacity to not allow yourself to sway another way. And you can test it out. You can test out your intentions. I will find parking space in the next 5 minutes. Allow me to receive this particular message around this, around that. And we can begin to build our trust in the energy that's in that spirit self. And that may take practice. I know I needed help to actually come to that place of trust and surrender. But channeling requires a self-awareness of the beliefs. It requires you to choose it with determination, with audacity, because nothing around us encourages it. Nothing around us encourages energy healing or working with that spirit being. We're more encouraged to engage in allopathic forms of healing. And I've been there, switching from medicine to psychology to energy healing. I can tell you how members of my family are still asking me about whether am I going to go back to being a medical doctor. It's so important for us to own that audacity, that this is what has worked for me. It may not be what my collective consciousness is going for, but for me as an individual consciousness, this is what I've come to explore. If that is where you're leaning, it's not a coincidence. Allow yourself to stay curious about it and gain a stronger understanding. Begin to practice it and get the help that you need. Awareness, the audacity to practice it, and you will slowly begin to find parts of yourself surrendering to it in layers, and you will find yourself in versions of you that are much more familiar with it than before. The version of me that welcomed Reiki energy healing from my son was very different from the version of me that was told about it for the very first time. And we can allow ourselves to stay curious and really focus on our own individual consciousness and the themes we've come to explore. And so, yes, it's a journey, but it does take a lot of perseverance and determination, self-awareness, and most of all, love. And get the help that we need. Surround ourselves with a community of people that are already doing it. And that is about rewiring, whatever it takes to rewire the programming that this is not a modality that works for you, especially if you're interested in it. If it's something that keeps coming to you, I had my brother telling me again and again over a period of 4 or 5 years, try it. I'm thinking, what's going on here? So it's important to stay curious and to be aware of what is going on around you, what is working, what is not working, what is being presented to me again and again. What do I find myself aligning to? Where can I get the information that I need? Who is the person that I keep feeling drawn to? Who is making sense to me? So begin to inquire and be aware of what is going on in your experience and then begin to practice. And whatever you focus on practice expands. So do not expect it to come from outside of you. Do not expect the encouragement to come from outside of you. It's got to be something that you are sensing within you. You are taking the action to practice and surrounding yourself with people that will support you to rewire and become much more familiar with it. And I'm here. This is what I do. If you want to connect with me, and Nina is also into this. This is the community, the collective consciousness that allows us to expand when we align.
For people who want to connect with you, how they can connect with you, and tell more about that, please.
Yes, thank you, Nina. Yes, you can connect with me on my website, www.soulspacehealing.com, and I do the energy clearings using the quantum Reiki renewal sessions as well as Akashic record healings. So if you click on energy healing or soul, you will get the services that I offer. And also I run some courses, as well as I have my blog and my book, Daily Soul Bites, which is available anywhere books are sold online now. Was published by Barbara, Press Division of Hay House in 2023. Available in Kindle, audiobook, and paperback. So yes, but the website, soulspacehealing.com, is the best place to get all my information. I'm also on Facebook and all the social media platforms.
Thank you, Bola, for this beautiful conversation. I really, really enjoyed talking to you. For everybody who's watching or listening this interview, if this episode inspired you, touched you, moved you in some way, please share it with your audience, share it with your friends and family members. We want to help more people heal and have a better life. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time. be brave, shine your light, because the world needs that love and light inside of you more than ever. I'm sending you lots of love and big hug. Bye for now.